One of the things that's really unique about the Center for Medical Simulation is our belief that simulation plus debriefing and applied learning in general is simply a platform for getting better at high-stakes conversations. And why do high-stakes conversations matter? Because they drive healthcare culture. One little conversation at a time gradually builds up to a culture of openness where we can talk about what matters most. Every time I don't speak up because I'm afraid of what someone else is going to do, I reinforce a culture of silencing and indirectness. Every time I invite somebody to speak up with their point of view, I invite their feedback and I receive it with warmth. We start on the inside. It's very natural to react negatively if you're under stress and you're in a difficult teamwork situation in the middle of a perioperative hemorrhage. It's very natural to react with defensiveness if somebody gives you spicy feedback that you don't like. It's very natural to react with hostility if someone you think is not taking good care of a patient. We have to help ourselves understand those reactions, learn how to reset, and then get curious. One of the ways we've done that that's kind of quirky is we talk about what Susan Eller calls when you think WTF or what the F, you should flip that to what's the other person's frame? That means what are they thinking such that they did what they did? Getting to other people from a stance of curiosity and respect is a really important value we have, and we think it's been changing quality and safety across the Harvard hospitals for the last 23 years and helping clinical educators that we work with worldwide.
Happy Healthcare Simulation Week. My name is Damien Shield. I'm an emergency physician and an educator based here in Boston. I split my time between the Center for Medical Simulation and the Brigham and Women's Hospital where I practice emergency medicine. I also currently have the pleasure of being one of the at-large directors for the Society for Simulation in Healthcare. Right now, my key role here is to lead our faculty development program, and I'm really excited about it because in addition to our tried and true 5-day instructor course that we lead here, along with my colleague Mary Fay, we're working on a series of innovations to bring debriefing training to the web so that we can bring it to folks around the world and on an on-demand basis. So we don't only have to wait until people can make it to Boston for their training, but can also keep on developing and improving their skills throughout the year, whether that's through peer feedback and mentoring and coaching, an area that I'm really passionate about, or whether it's by asynchronous online learning. Both are, I think, exciting innovations that I'm excited to spend my time on. And I think that's what I'm hoping for everybody during Healthcare Simulation Week, that we think about how to push through what we've been doing and into new horizons, because the field is still young and there's so many problems in healthcare and in education to solve. And I think as a group, we really have the know-how, energy, and enthusiasm to solve a lot of problems. So I hope that for folks across the world working in simulation, you have a great week, that you set some goals that you can achieve, and I hope that you share them on social media with the hashtag for the week so that we can all hear about what you're thinking at #goals and tag me at Debrief Mentor, and I'd love to see what you're up to.
Hi, I'm Janice Palaganis. I'm the Director of Educational Innovation and Development here at the Center for Medical Simulation, which only means I get to do some really cool things and develop some new programs for the field of simulation. And so one thing that we've been working on, we received a grant from the Josiah Macy Jr. Foundation, and they have really launched us into creating, or supported us in creating, what we're calling the virtual campus. What we have in there is bite-sized activities that can fit your busy schedules and can fit all of the needs that you may have. So if you're on the go, you can listen to some podcasts. We have some short animated films that'll help motivate some reflection on your own practice. We also have some courses, some 5-week courses where you can sign on and join us for a certain amount of hours every week and do some work on your own and work with your own groups. I like to think of the virtual campus as a deliberately developmental interprofessional community of practice in a transparent feedback culture. And there are things that make it different than what I believe exists online these days. The activities are really structured to allow you to reflect on your own practice and then also practice the things that you're about to teach. And I think that is the difference is, especially for interprofessional education, we're asked to teach interprofessional education, but we ourselves haven't actually gone through it. And the fact that this is an interprofessional community of practice, you can actually practice what you're about to teach. And the other thing is you get immediate feedback from all spectrums, whether it is the receiver of what you are practicing, your peers, or experts in the field. Anyway, would love to see you in our virtual campus and also have a really great simulation week and hope to see you at IMSH.
Hi, I'm Kate Morris. I'm the Associate Director for the Educational Leadership and International Programs here at the Center for Medical Simulation. And I'm excited to talk to you about what's interesting and what's going on here in our program called the Affiliate Program, is a short way of saying Educational Leadership and International Programs. And the most exciting thing I think that I'm working on right now is working with groups who are moving simulation beyond domain-specific training. So they have expertise in domain-specific training, and now we're looking at using simulation to change culture and have hopefully a closer impact to patient care. So what does that mean? Well, that means that we're working, for example, on a program on speaking up, which is such a hard thing to do, and creating culture change through simulation at a major hospital in Brisbane, Australia. So we're putting through 6,700 employees, including physicians and everybody, administrative, everyone in the hospital will eventually over 3 years be through this program, which includes a substantial amount of simulation, because we understand that teaching speaking up is much more than just telling people to speak up, and simulation moves it to that area where people can really get in touch with what gets in their way. So I think for me, that's the exciting thing, is to be able to see how we can use simulation in different ways to solve challenging healthcare problems that impact patient care.
My name is Roxanne Gardner, and I work at Center for Medical Simulation. I've been here since 2002, and I'm serving as the director of our CMS Simulation Fellowship and International Scholars Program, and also as the senior director of our clinical programs. So a couple of projects that we're working on, one in each space, is for our clinical programs. I'm working on this virtual reality project. And we partnered with a gentleman by the name of Fernando Salvetti, who has brought to us a virtual environment he's created called eReal. And so we're learning how to use virtual reality and incorporate it into our simulations. And it's a very big learning curve, and we're all excited to see how that turns out. And with our Simulation Fellowship and International Scholars Program, so currently we have 4 scholars. One is from Singapore, an anesthesiologist. One is from Brisbane, Australia. Another one is from Colombia. And another one is from Normandy, France. We're working on each one of their projects and helping them move their agenda forward. So that's always a delight. As you can imagine, with all those various experiences and cultural heritage, it's just been a real pleasure to see through their lens and learn about simulation and teach them as well.
So at the Center for Medical Simulation, we've been thinking really hard about how do we embed difficult conversation skills in a patient safety and quality context. And we've come up with 3 techniques that we think are really important for all practitioners. So one is almost a lifelong discipline of being able to hold other people and yourself to high standards while also holding them in high regard. You can think about this as what Kim Scott calls challenging directly while caring personally. These things, holding you to high standards and holding you in positive regard, usually are separate. They're really hard to hold together because we tend to judge so naturally. So that's where we came up with this idea of with good judgment, debriefing with good judgment, feedback with good judgment, speaking up with good judgment. The idea is I should use my discerning perceptions, my insight, my judgment to help you get better. But if I assume the best of you, if I assume that you were trying to help the patient, you didn't wake up that morning wanting to hurt anybody, I assume the best of you and hold you to high standards, I can help. So that's technique one, holding those two apparently opposite things together. The second is this idea that helping people with behavior change or changing my own behavior is hard. I need to learn how to change my actions, and I need to learn how to change my frames or my thinking or my feelings, my habitual cognitive routines or emotional reactions. I have to be able to look at those, I have to be able to tune those up, and I need to do that in a relational context. What does that mean? In connection with other humans, in a way that feels safe and fun. So when we can change people's frames and thinking, it helps change their actions. Sometimes we change their actions, it changes their frames, but all that leads to better clinical results in an embedded context. And then lastly, how do you actually do that? How do you actually talk to other people? So the way we think about that is pairing things, again, that are usually separate. Most of us are trained to try to change other people by convince. That's sometimes called advocating. Or maybe we learned we don't want people to become defensive, so we ask them nice questions, sometimes leading questions. That's often called inquiry. So we separate inquiry and advocacy, and we don't understand why our communications are not effective. So what we found is if you can put those together, as Chris Argyris at Harvard Business School taught us many, many years ago, into advocacy plus inquiry, you reveal your thinking, what you care about and what you want to get done, and you inquire into other people's from that stance of curiosity and respect. And when you share what you're thinking and blend it with what other people are thinking, we can collaborate, negotiate to come up with the best clinical management plans, to design interprofessional interventions, to manage complex patient transport problems, to manage end-of-life conversations. All of these different things can happen when I share my thinking and I'm curious about other people's.